Welcome back to the Neutral Zone. Today we're going to be looking at the SMU Mustangs as we continue on with our previous series. Can Rhett Lashley and Kevin Jennings continue this explosive offense into the 2025 season? And can the defense take another step towards championship football? As always, if you're new to the channel, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe to join the nation. Let's get right to the video. Kevin Jennings and the SMU Mustangs, I feel like are poised to make another playoff run this year. I think their schedule is favorable. Although this team was looked at as kind of pretenders late in the season, when they lost to Clemson and then had the big 28-point loss to Penn State in the first round. I still think SMU is trending upwards. I think this program has been able to recruit in the Dallas area and keep the talent there that's in Texas at SMU rather than A&M and Texas solely getting all of the talent. I think SMU is primed to make another playoff run, like I said, and also make a run for the ACC title. Last year, they were I think 53 or 54-yard kick shy of winning the SEC. I'm sorry, the ACC, not the SEC. I'm winning the ACC. And that obviously I was very excited about that because I'm a Clemson fan, but I think SMU has a lot to look forward to both this season and in totality with this program. But I'm going to kind of let you give your take on them and how their season went last year as well as a prediction for this year.
Yeah, like you mentioned, great season by Kevin Jennings, over 3,000 yards passing, also gave you a little bit rushing. The obvious concern is some of the turnover. Bashard Smith going to the NFL. He was a 1,000-yard rusher last year. So that's going to be a big deal. And then you got Daniels also leaving. Keyshawn Smith also going to the NFL. Oh, you got the list up. And Roderick Daniels. So while we bring back Kevin Jennings, who I think rightfully is perceived as a potential top 10 quarterback, you're talking about a whole new supporting staff for him next year or this upcoming year. So it's going to be different. Can they continue to pop, especially in a very tough ACC? Obviously made the jump up, but it's now a question of, can they stay there? Is Kevin Jennings capable of putting on that cape and carrying this team I don't want to say all by himself, but without the talent that they had last year? And again, you're talking about some pretty good players that they lost from last season.
Yeah, I mean, they did lose a lot. I think Bashard Smith is going to be the most pivotal loss, but you do bring over Chris Johnson Jr. from Miami. Another thing that I did not put on this slide, which I want to kind of get your take on, and this isn't a kind of a tangent, but I kind of want to know, what do you think the thought process behind Tyler Van Dyke going to SMU was? I don't understand that move.
Yeah, kind of weird, especially obviously with Kevin Jennings entrenched as the starting quarterback. I think there were starting positions that he probably could have went to go get. He's a graduate senior, I believe. To be honest with you, and this almost goes like to the Aaron Nolan position that we talked about with South Carolina a couple days ago. I don't know. Maybe you just the coaching and being a backup, and maybe he's lost prospect for being an NFL quarterback, and he just wants to go someplace where the atmosphere is better. But beyond that, because again, the assumption is you're not going to get the opportunity to play here outside of blowouts. And if Kevin Jennings got hurt, I don't understand the thought process behind it.
Yeah, I don't get it either. I think if that's the case, you should have just stayed at Miami. Obviously you're with Carson Beck, but regardless, you're not the number one quarterback, regardless, wherever you were to go. I could have liked to see him go, to a team like Syracuse or, somewhere where he can compete for the job. And he'll be able to kind of showcase his talent as a quarterback. Now, obviously, he's had a less than ideal decline in his college football career after the big season that he had his freshman year. And after that, it kind of just went down the wayside. But at the end of the day, I think Kevin Jennings is the number one quarterback here. I think he's a sleeper Heisman pick. I think SMU is going to put up a lot of numbers. I think they're going to have a really good record. But in capital letters, I think you lose a lot on the defensive side of the ball. Elijah Roberts and Jafari Harvey were the two leading sack, grabbers. That sounds really bad. Sack. That sounded crazy.
Why did you
That
put
was
those two together?
that was crazy. Oh my
Like
God.
hitters and
Oh, that was
and
crazy.
set grabs.
That was a crazy clip there. But those were the two leading sack people on this team. You bring back Isaiah Smith, who was tied for second. And then Harrison Hunty also went to the NFL, or he graduated, so he's no longer there. That was crazy. I'm not gonna lie, that was so crazy. But let's get right into the prediction for the schedule. I kind of want to know how you came up with 10-2.
Again, I think when you look at this, you say Kevin Jennings has the potential to be an absolute superstar. The schedule for the ACC, it's a little tough, especially the fact that you have both Clemson, Miami, Louisville, who I think will be a tough game. But I think the rest of, especially the non-conference, I think Baylor's going to be decent. But the rest of the non-conference is navigatable. So those are the two games I had them losing. Clemson and Miami, I think just talent level, those teams are ahead of them. There's some games that I'm concerned about as I look at the schedule. Like I said, that Baylor game. Louisville's always a tough team. Syracuse has been tough the last couple of years, and so is TCU. And I wouldn't be surprised. That TCU game, especially with it being at TCU, is the game that I kind of went back and forth on. But at the end of the day, I think a 10-2 season. In the ACC, you're probably a fringe playoff team. Now I know you got them 11-1, and I think that would make them pretty solid. ACC 10-2, with some marquee wins, with some big wins. They're probably almost like last year, kind of campaigning for one of those final spots. So nothing to sneeze at, nothing to be upset with.
I had the ceiling at 12-0. I think this team can beat anybody on the schedule, including Clemson. Obviously, with it
at Clemson.
Yeah, I think even with it being on the road, I think Clemson struggled mightily against Louisville last year. I think this SMU team is better than Louisville was. Now, I think this Clemson team is better than Clemson was last year as well. So, I mean, you can't compare year by year. But I think Clemson has taken a slight step back when you look at home field advantage, losing to Louisville and losing to South Carolina last season. I think SMU has the potential and has the offensive firepower to put up points on anybody in the country. We saw that against a Clemson team. I think we were winning by like 3 possessions, and they came back late to almost make win the ACC. So I think they can beat anybody on the schedule. I have them going 11-1. I think, contrary to what you said, I think this is a very easy schedule for them. I don't think outside of the Clemson game, I think Miami will be a tough game, but I think they're going to win every other game pretty handily. I think the offense is just that good. Now, I think this is going to be a situation where it's kind of like the Miami season last year where the defense is really bad and you have to outscore everybody. And I think that's why I don't have them beating Clemson, because I think Clemson's defense is so good that they're going to get stops. And we just don't know what kind of defense this SMU team has yet. Could they be a good defense? Sure. But you lost 2 of your best pass rushers, statistically speaking. And you lost a lot of
stat grabbers.
Yeah, and you lost some other talent as well. You lost Brashard Smith. You lost your leading receiver. So I want to see how it looks.
I top 2 receivers.
I still think that the offense is going to be good, although they lost, 3 skill positions. But the defense is what scares me, because defense is something that you kind of struggled with last season. I think offense carried you in a number of your games. And I don't think you can win on the road at Clemson. But I think you're 11-1, finishing right around the 6 or 7 spot. And I think you have a rematch in the ACC title game with Clemson, which would be a really good game, I feel like. But I don't fear Miami or Louisville too much, just because I think Miami and Louisville, again, have a lot of question marks also. And I think Rhett Lashlee and his coaching style is going to be able to give both of those teams issues. And I think if it was on the road, I'd probably swing the other way, because I think the home field advantage would kind of help the other two teams. But I think with it being an SMU, I think they're kind of put in a position where I'm not going to say it's hard to lose that game, but you have everything going in your favor to start the game. You're not going into a hostile environment.
I agree. I think that Miami team has a lot of talent. And I think based on when that game is in the schedule, I think Carson Beck will have settled in a little bit. He will have some chemistry with his wide receivers. Again, obviously I have the ceiling 11-1. I'll tell you, the game I don't have them capable of winning is that Clemson game in Death Valley. That's the only one. So that Miami game is a toss-up game for me. Again, when you have a dynamic star like Kevin Jennings touching the ball every play, I think you're going to be in every game. But those are the two games that I think they just won't be able to overcome.
Let us know what you guys think in the comment section about this SMU team. Let us know what other teams you guys want us to cover. And as always, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe to Join the Nation, and we will see you guys next time. Peace out.